Freedom is the sovereign right of every American. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communist invasion. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communist invasion. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communist invasion. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communist invasion.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, episode 91, being recorded live on October 12th, 2019. I'm your host Taylor, and this week I'm of course joined by Anthony Dennis. How are you, sir?
I don't know, pretty decent, I guess.
Okay.
Just going through all this new stuff and whatever, so getting prepared.
Oh yes, it is a big show today. What a week.
Slightly.
And, what have you been up to? Before we get into what is obviously the massive elephant in the room.
So I've been playing some... What have I been playing this week? Minecraft, of course. Still going through that. Been streaming a tiny bit of it. Haven't really been streaming this week that much. Also been playing some ESO as well. Which just grinding through that. It is rather repetitive. But anyway, that's all good. Also finished Black Ops 2 finally, which wasn't very good at all.
Okay.
I have kind of previously played it, but never finished it, I don't think, ages and ages ago. And I'm going to jump into Black Ops 3 probably next week.
Oh god, I'm so sorry.
Coming up. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm so sorry.
And then Infinite, so awesome. So that'll be fun. And aside from that, also picked up Hitman, which is just like the 2015 one, whatever it is. I don't know what even it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's the one that's just called Hitman. It's not Hitman 2, it's the one previously, before that, where it had like seasons, like season 1, 2, and 3. That weird thing. So played through a couple of levels of that last night. Picked that up last night. It was only like $10 or something on Steam. So yeah, aside from that, that's kind of been it for me this week. And yeah, that's kind of it. I don't think I've been playing anything else. Haven't been PS4ing. Got a new monitor coming in tomorrow, so I can hopefully hook that up to that.
Like 9
days later. I know, right? Great Australia Post. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Mike, you join us on the show. Welcome back, sir.
Of all the times, of all the weeks, of all the months, I decided to go ahead and fill in. I had to choose today. Oh boy.
Yeah, Andrew pulled out at the last second. Some things came up for him, but Mike was nice enough to come step in. So thank you for being here. But how's gaming been for you? How's gaming been for you this past week?
The gaming's been okay. That's as of late, I do admit that it's been mostly in between Borderlands 3 and Monster Hunter World Iceborne, but mostly Iceborne.
Okay.
Getting lots of mileage out of it. This week the Rajang came out.
Yeah.
Which is the giant monkey that could be able to punch you into oblivion, and that has been so much fun. I'm so glad it came into the game. Had a blast, and still having a blast right now, and yeah, been having fun with that. Also, check out Dauntless again.
Okay.
And Dauntless recently introduced a new weapon, and I noticed it's running so much smoother than it was back when it first launched on the Xbox One X, so been kind of happy with that as well. I'm probably going to be diving back into that game too.
Fun. Okay. You liking Iceborne so far? A lot of stuff to do?
Love Iceborne. There's way too many things to do in the game. I have yet to even get to the final boss after the final boss. Yeah, it's the super final boss. So
okay.
Kind of in hopes that maybe this weekend I might get to it, if not next week for sure.
Okay, so you've beaten Darth Vader, you just need to beat Palpatine now. Got it.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. So let's see. This past week for me, it was super busy uni week. So when I did game, I just played a little bit. I guess I would call them my comfort games at some point, where it's like, I want to game, but don't really know what to play, but still want to play something. So like Civ 6, Sekiro, and yes, I find Sekiro relaxing to play at this point, and and a little bit of
sometimes you gotta play those hard games to relieve the stress.
Yeah, and a little bit of John Wick Hex. Got that in for review, and working on that. Pretty fun game so far. I think it's hovering around a 7 or 8 right now, from the couple hours I played of it. Then I'd crank some more time in this weekend and probably have a review out on it by Tuesday. So, yeah, that's pretty much been my week. And, alright, just running through the housekeeping stuff. All the site, social media, and whatnot. The main site is, of course, culturegaming.com. Head over there, find all the like gaming news, opinions, reviews, etc. Have some new writers on board. They write some interesting stuff, so go check out some of their work. We have 2 Facebook pages, one for the main site and one for the podcast. The first Facebook page for the main site is facebook.com/cod.net, and one for the podcast is facebook.com/poweruppodcast. We have a community Discord, a link to which you can find on the right-hand side sidebar of the main site, and you can chat to everyone you see on the podcast there about pretty much any topic you like. We talked about all sorts of things over there, so hit us up there. We have all sorts of different channels to discuss various topics, like there's a dedicated tech channel, etc. Anyway, Twitter @Culture of Gaming. That's CULTUR of Gaming. So it's Culture of Gaming, just without the E at the end of culture. Hit us up there on Twitter. And then Instagram @Culture of Gaming, spelled properly that time. YouTube.com/Culture of Gaming, spelled properly that time. Twitch.tv/Culture of Gaming, although I'm not too sure how much we'll be using the Twitch channel from now on. And the latest and greatest one is Mixer. That's where all the streams happen. That's where this podcast happens, etc. And that is mixer.com/culture_of_gaming. And keep in mind, on whatever podcast service you use, if you search the Power Up Podcast, you will be able to find the audio of the podcast on any of those services, including Spotify, Pocket Casts, Podbean, etc. All right, so this week in gaming news. Wow. Waking up Tuesday morning and everything was on fire. So, yeah, you guys probably heard about the whole Blizzard thing. I'd imagine if you're listening to a gaming-centric podcast, you're probably in the know enough to know about Blizzard's colossal F-up this past week. And anyway, so we're going to do a quick rundown through it and then go back and discuss some of the points and anything. But before we get started into this topic, I would like to say that, once again, any problems expressed, we don't have a problem with the citizenry of China. It is purely against the government, okay? We don't care.
The regime.
Yeah, the communist dictator regime, okay? And, yeah, that's, I think that legally covers our asses enough. Anyway.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyway.
No sue.
What's up?
No sue.
Yeah, no sue,
Okay,
please.
so-
Yeah, no sue. Fun fact.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. Anyway, so on Monday, October 12th, Blizzard laid out a ban and forfeiture of prize money for pro Hearthstone player Blizzchung. In a post-tournament interview, Blizzchung, a Hong Kong national citizen, expressed support for the ongoing liberation movement in Hong Kong. His expression resulted, and if you don't know about that, there's currently an ongoing protest against the Chinese government in Hong Kong that's getting pretty violent. Anyway, his expression resulted in the stream being cut and the aforementioned penalties being issued. Blizzard, the facilitators of the Hearthstone tournament and whatnot, and of course the developers of Hearthstone itself, said Blizzchung violated official rules by expressing a political opinion at one of their events. Now, don't get me wrong on this next point. I'm in no way condoning what Blizzard did for Blizzchung or any of the actions that they did later, but this is technically true. It is within Blizzard's rule set that no players are to express quote-unquote controversial or political views during a esports tournament. The specific rule set, however, is vague enough and is, quote, up to Blizzard's discretion to determine what is considered political or controversial. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through this. After this little incident, Blizzard's surrogate/representative company in China, I believe it's called NetEase, I believe that's their partner. So the way that international business works in China specifically is that, say, an American company, like in this case Blizzard, wanted to do business in China, which Blizzard has been doing business in China for the better part of the past decade or so. You have to partner with a Chinese company. And I believe Blizzard is partnered with NetEase for their Chinese company, so they can do business in China. Anyway, so Blizzard's representative company in China issued this statement regarding the incident on Weibo in China. This is translated from Chinese and translated in English. It says, "We are very angered and disappointed at what happened at the event last weekend and highly object the expression of personal political beliefs in any of our events. As always, we will defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs." Now, it should be noted that although this translation was, like, confirmed from various other Chinese speakers and everything, others have said that there's a different translation that could happen that doesn't make the last sentence so dramatic. But other than that, it's more or less, yeah, it's just like...
accurate.
Yeah, it's more or less accurate.
And keep that in mind as we continue on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And so this whole thing,
important.
yeah, this whole thing ignited at least the western part of the internet for the past week, and has led to the targeting of other American companies like Apple, or perhaps most notably the NBA, from doing business in China. There's kind of like this whole cultural thing in the U.S. doing right now that just kind of culminated this past week into one big anti-communist China movement. Everything between like the South Park episodes and whatnot, and so. Yeah, anyway, due to the internet, being on fire and whatnot, hashtags like, oh, boycott Blizzard started trending and whatnot. People started canceling their accounts en masse this past week. Bunch of drama kind of went down with that because Blizzard, to actually delete your full account, requires you to issue a government-issued photo ID to verify it's you.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, what's
And
up?
don't forget the part of how there were so many people trying to cancel their accounts at one time. At a certain point, you could not cancel your account at all.
Yeah, because...
Like, oh, that is just beautiful right there. And, mind you, it probably could have been a system error or it's like, not intentional, but it's still kind of like, kind of shows you just how significant people are taking this or, the severity of the situation, so to speak.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was quote-unquote, like, Blizzard said a bug was preventing people from deleting their accounts or, like, canceling their WoW subscriptions that their engineers were working on. That was, like, Wednesday night or so, maybe Thursday night. And then, alright, moving on, the Overwatch character Mei, who in lore is Chinese, has now been appearing in Hong Kong and around the internet as a symbol of protest against the Chinese government. This is done to try to put Blizzard into an even worse spot in China than they already are. I got links of several of the Mei-based propaganda and everything that's been circulating around. Links are in the chat for anyone to go and check it out. Blizzard employees working on the campus that they have in California have staged their own protests, covering various mottos engraved around the campus, like "Every Voice Matters," stuff like that, as well as a walkout that several dozen workers participated in. Blizzard themselves have also remained silent up until last night when they issued this official statement. This was issued by not Bobby Kotick, who's the CEO of Activision Blizzard, but by J. Allen Brack, who is the executive officer of Blizzard, kind of running. He says, "Hello, Blizzard community. I want to take a few minutes to talk to you all about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend on Monday." Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just try to paraphrase here. Our esports programs are expression of our visions and values. Esports exists to create opportunities for players from around the world, different cultures, different backgrounds, etc. As to how our values apply in our case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. Okay, just kind of outlining what happened. He talks a little bit about the casters of the tournament that got banned also with Blizzchung, even though, I don't know, to me it just kind of seemed like they were in the wrong place at the wrong time when the ban hammer came swinging down. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. There are a few like weird parts in the statement specifically that kind of contradict, the past week worth of actions from Blizzard and even past decisions from Blizzard. Specifically, in this apology issued by Brack, he says, "The specific views expressed by Blizzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision." Even though earlier in the week they literally made a statement saying they would defend, the dignity of the Chinese at any cost, But, okay, anyway. Yeah. Objection. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to... And, yeah, there are a few other messages in that we can get into a little bit later.
Yeah, just gotta hold up the objection right there, because, yeah, you could use...
You're breaking up. What's up? Okay. Anyway, there is also a strong chance that this statement was partially written by the presumed Chinese
I
surrogate.
think everybody's breaking up. Earlier, you were breaking up as well, Taylor.
Hold on. Hello? Hello? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on your end, Taylor, because you're very crackly and the stream was very slow.
Is it?
Yeah, it was like it was jamming and like stopping.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I think it's all good now, though.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate.
Everyone's running into internet problems today. I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know.
China.
China watches culture of gaming, and apparently I've taken offense to this
Apparently.
approach that we're taking. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any drop frames on my end. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. There is a strong chance that the statement I was talking about earlier, that was issued by Alan Brack, was partially written by the Chinese surrogate company Blizzard has, because there are some parts of it that just do not read like a native English speaker would talk and everything. We were talking a little bit about this in the Discord last night, Anthony. You know?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, but that's this whole separate thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the stock did what stock does. You know, there was a brief little bad PR, like, spike down, but then trading doesn't go on in the weekends, and it looks like it was kind of recovering. But people are still super duper pissed off. So,
question: what happened to Blizzchung? Didn't he get fired or did he quit?
Oh, so Blizzchung. Oh, so I should probably mention that as a Blizzard statement last night, Blizzard unbanned Blizzchung, or reduced Blizzchung's ban from 1 year just down to 6 months, and returned his prize winnings. And the two casters who were caught in the crossfire also had their suspension reduced down to 6 months.
So even though he's won a tournament outright, or I don't follow esports, so I don't even know if he won or not.
No, he did. He won.
He
won.
Yeah, he won.
Even though he won, what's their right to take off his prize money?
It's because it's like they violated the rules. He violated the rules, technically. But no. All right, you know what?
In my opinion,
I know that's a good segue to our first topic, though. All right, so let's just talk about the Hearthstone event itself and whatnot that Blizzchung got, rule violated and whatnot. So as I said earlier, in Blizzard's like competitive rule set and everything, you can't use their esports tournament platform to express political or controversial views, which is largely up to Blizzard's discretion and whatnot. So, yeah, what do you think of that? Like, do you think Blizzard technically acted within their rule set by doing it, or no?
I mean, companies have rules, that's all well and good, but if you're talking about a dictatorship that is doing religious persecution and all this stuff that they're doing to people, great, you've got rules, but what do you want to do? Support a country that's doing human rights violations left, right, and center? Like, is that what you want to be remembered as?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's not a outspoken view to say, hey, China's, give us democracy.
Right, exactly.
Or, in my opinion at least, like, it's freedom of speech. The guy's I don't know. Like, sure, Blizzard has rules, but I mean, that's not the point. It's a bad regime that they're doing. It's like saying, oh, I don't agree with North Korea, banned. I mean, North Korea could nuke the whole world. We don't know. It's people's opinions and it's people's views, and it's the whole political landscape. Sure, like, I'm not getting into politics or anything, but it's not good for a company to support a regime that is doing all this stuff.
Right, and that's what them banning Blizzchung kind of comes out as. Is like, yeah. Okay.
Like, do you support China or do you not support China? That's the question, really.
Right, Mike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mind you that after having to listen to so many different stories throughout the week, it's really kind of hard to take a stand here. I mean, mind you, don't get me wrong, everything that happened here, obviously, we all know who we're all siding with, of course, in this situation. Yeah. But we do have to kind of play devil's advocate just for a quick second, just so that we can easily demolish the other side. Because, technically speaking, people do not want to know, or not people don't want to know your political views, but it's like, when people go ahead and watch the Hearthstone, Overwatch, League of Legends, any esport title here, the last thing you want them to be doing is that, oh, hey, by the way, white supremacy sucks.
Right.
Or,
but...
or anything like that. And it's like, obviously it's like, yeah, I'm not wanting to watch this esport just so that someone can go to say, Trump sucks, ban him, impeach him, or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to leave all those politics out. But then at the same time, though, the context of this particular thing right here, that's what is spurring up everything right now. Because, freedom of speech, it's great and all, but then we got to keep in mind that this event wasn't exactly in the North American, so to speak, location, so to speak.
No, it wasn't.
So, and unfortunately, given the context of the situation and how quick it was cut off, yeah, that was something that was definitely like, the trigger got pulled way too fast, unfortunately in this case, as did the actual punishment itself.
Yeah,
and it's because of that severity of how quick and severe the punishment was, not only against Blizzchung, but also the casters, who just went ahead to dump their head out of the way because they know that shit was about to blow up.
Yeah.
That's, unfortunately, it's like, yeah, all that spurred in together just created the perfect storm in this whole entire nonsense situation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it was in any other situation, had Blizzard not reacted in the way that they did, or had they just banned the guy for like a month, so to speak, and not even touched the casters, we wouldn't be focusing on this right now.
Right.
But yeah, unfortunately though, they took it so severe that it's so hard to go ahead and ignore it, unfortunately. And with how long they took to go to respond, that just made it all the worse.
Yeah.
Hold off on your response until after the stock closes. Because that if you try to do it beforehand, the stockholders are probably going to take offense to that.
Yeah, that's like such a classic Blizzard move to drop like a PR apology like that on 5 p.m. on a Friday. Like they've done that so many times over the years whenever they've screwed up. That anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made a response about that after last year's fiasco of cell phones.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Anthony. What were you gonna say?
What did he say? That's my question. Like, how long was he
said,
talking
like,
about?
He just
Chinese
said
politics, sort of.
he put on
it was
goggles.
only 8 seconds.
Yeah, he put on goggles and a gas mask, which is something that the
cross.
protesters have been doing in Hong Kong, and basically like screamed, it's like liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age, or like era, or something like to that nature. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was literally all he said.
Long, but it was apparently 7 seconds longer than Blizzard could tolerate, and cut straight to commercial after that.
Yeah. All right, so my take on this is like, okay, yes, Blizzard does have it in their rule set. Yes, the rules are vague, and it is up to Blizzard's discretion. Trying to use one of Mike's example, it would have been one thing to say like, oh, impeach Trump, or like, Hillary Clinton 2020 or something like that. That would have been one thing, something that's clearly politically divisive, especially in the U.S. also.
But I don't even know.
At the same time, also though, it's just like, I don't know. To me, as an outsider looking in, there's nothing like controversial or divisive about supporting Hong Kong.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to
and
fight
that's
against.
the whole thing. He didn't say anything controversial. It was just, stand with Hong Kong. And imagine this for a quick second.
Yeah.
Imagine if Blizzchung decided to go ahead and say, long live China, long live the president, whoever the president is right now.
Yeah.
And just imagine he just did that instead. Would Blizzard have done the exact same thing and just cut off the,
Well, Blizzard says they would have.
Or would they have just,
Blizzard says they would have, apparently. Which, like,
I don't agree.
They would have.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. That's, we're only taking them at face value. Something which we'll probably mention for another person here in a bit.
Yeah,
I don't agree, to be honest. Like, if this was a political view that they agreed with, say, hypothetically, that they agreed that Trump should be impeached, I don't reckon they would have cut him, to be honest. Like, if it was something that they agreed with as a company, because a lot of people believe blah, 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 I'm not going to get into it, but this is where it comes into bias, like, political bias, in a sense, and, like, what's censored and what isn't censored. If it's something that they agree with and what makes them money and all that kind of stuff, like, oh, we're going to be very, whatever the term is, like, controversial, and make this statement and that statement and every other statement.
Yeah.
I don't reckon they would have cut him off. No way.
Okay. I partially agree with you in the sense that it's just like, by Blizzard keeping it up to like, oh, we determine where the line is at our discretion and everything. It's very open to like, oh, you know what? We agreed with what this guy said, so we're not going to like punish him or anything, But yeah, and I guess
mean, that's what happened the other day too.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, and I guess like also, I don't want to necessarily partially retract a statement I made earlier, but it's more of like, okay, I said as an outsider looking in, this is as a freedom-loving American and whatnot, and it's like, hopefully you guys heard the intro and whatnot. Communism is not allowed on American soil. Thank you, Liberty Prime. But,
we love you.
Yeah, thank you, Liberty Prime. But, the thing is that, where was I going with this? I don't want to say a blank. Oh, the thing is that the Hong Kong protest for citizens of China living in China is somewhat controversial to them, even like a citizen not affiliated with the government in any way. There are plenty of Chinese citizens out there that don't like what Hong Kong is doing and view them as kind of an enemy or whatever. So it is definitely kind of a controversial topic if you're taking from the Chinese context. Thank you for the follow, Bunaplaya4. And so, I guess that is one aspect to consider also, is that, so sure, as an American looking in, it wasn't controversial to us, but, to a Chinese citizen who might be a fan of Blizzard games or whatnot, it might be controversial.
Sure. I was going to add one other thing as well, which I've completely forgotten.
Okay.
Okay, continue, I'll think back on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I got distracted somehow.
Alright, so, and then, I don't know, past that, because to do business in China, you not only need to have, like, a partner company also, you also need to be in the good graces with the Chinese government also. They can just straight up say, no, we won't even let you partner with a Chinese company, we don't like you. So I'm sure that might be a part of it also, trying to preserve the relationship with China as much as possible. I'm not trying to defend Blizzard in any way here, don't get me wrong, I'm just saying, if you were to try to explain their actions, this is probably how you go about doing it.
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with playing devil's advocate in this situation. But then at the same time, though, it's like, you got to look at their aspects so that you can easily dissect the other aspects of it, and thus make a better argument about it.
Yeah. Okay, Anthony.
So what I was going to say was, like, if this was, in my mind, if this happened, say, probably 10 or 20 years ago, with, say, like what's going on in China at the moment and all the whole religious persecution and all that other stuff, people would be horrified about it. And a company like that, any company, should stand up and say, no, we don't support China. No way. Look at what they're doing. They're killing people in the streets.
Right.
It's bad what they're doing, and it is bad what they're doing. Like, it's not a matter of politics. These guys are persecuting religion to begin with, no matter what religion, Muslim, Christian, whatever. And they're cutting people open, whether you like it or not. That's what they're doing. So the facts are, I think it comes down to desensitization in a sense, where people don't really care about what's going on in these other countries, and it's just like, oh, whatever, I just want to watch a game and this and that and everything else. That's all good, but it needs to be that companies, no matter where you are and what side of the fence you're on, whatever country you're in, they should be horrified about it, and they should stand with people who are for putting democracy in a country like China.
Right.
That's doing all this stuff.
Yeah. And let's see, another part. It's like, I don't know, to me it kind of comes down to, out of all the like quote unquote political or controversial issues to ding someone for, someone that's clearly protesting human rights violations, that probably wouldn't be the one where I pull the trigger on. Or whatever,
no way.
Oh, but don't you guys have human rights?
I mean, I have a phone.
I'm sorry, that one's been being down to the floor by this point. But,
yeah, I have a phone.
A lot of people haven't hesitated to use that one yet.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
There's so much you could get into, but it's very controversial.
Yeah, without going into like a straight up politics, it's hard to go a little bit further than where we're going here. I don't know. If I was Blizzard in this situation, I probably would have did like a minor slap on the wrist sort of thing. Said, hey, maybe as a sort of warning, almost been like, hey, it's just like, You're off the. This is the first time we've ever really had to do this for someone, because you know it is. No, it's like up until this point, no one has said anything political during like a victory speech or whatever, right? This is literally the first time it's happened in Blizzard esports history, as far as I'm aware, or at the very least, the most relevant, or like the only relevant time it's happened. Blizzard has said, hey, you know, please don't ever do this again.
Check your privilege,
Yeah.
just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Please don't ever do this again and whatnot on our platform. You're free to say whatever you want on your like Twitch stream or whatever, because you know Blizzchung stream starts down on Twitch and whatnot in like the off season, whatnot. But yeah, it's like, you know, say whatever you want in your stream, just like when you're here at an official tournament. Please don't say anything like that ever again. We would really appreciate it. Thanks, bye. And we wouldn't be talking about this.
If it happens
but,
again,
I mean,
then you'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Either that, something that's like a very minor penalty, if anything, or even just like have, you know, followed by saying, you know, the views of our participants do not reflect the thoughts and what have you of Activision Blizzard.
Sure.
It's like, you know, at least if you would have said that, you know, you could have just easily have just covered your bases there, because at least it's like, you know, we do not reflect, I mean, we do not agree or disagree, whatever, even though that everyone should agree that everyone should have human rights, but,
Yeah.
you know, they're acting as, I mean, because of how they acted, you know, they are essentially making it look like that, you know, we are bending the knee so hard down that, you know, insert your joke here, essentially.
Yeah.
And the thing is also, though, is just like, I don't know, for as long as Blizzard has been in China, though, China isn't even that big of a, like, the whole Chinese audience thing isn't that big of a part of Blizzard's revenue year over year. So, like, you know, that's kind of important to keep in mind. You know, people would say it's like, oh, you know, they're a business, they're trying to protect their business interests. Sure, but at the same time, also, you've now lost the good graces of people in the US, which is still your largest market, and a lot of people in Europe, which is your second largest market, all because you want to preserve like the 5 to 10% of revenue that you earn from China every year over year. So
Oh, but Tyler,
was
you
it
gotta
worth
keep in mind. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Well, no, you gotta keep in mind. Activision Blizzard operates under one format. They don't want some of the money. They want all of the money.
Okay.
And if they lose that like 5%, that's almost as bad as if they lost all 100%. Because they need all the money in the world. And you know, the last thing they want is their Call of Duty mobile game in China to be declined just because of this whole situation either. So,
Or Diablo Immortal.
Yep. It's all important to Activision Blizzard. That's why they had to do what they did, in spite of how they would be kind of insulting everyone else involved. But
right.
That's kind of where we see ourselves right now.
Yeah. All right. So that's the first little bit here. You know, kind of moving along. So yeah, the internet obviously didn't take to this whole incident way too kindly. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, throat is dry. I should have got some water. Anyway, so yeah, the Western part of the internet, you know, the people who are pro Hong Kong, you know, pro human rights and whatnot, got pretty upset, and understandably so. But you know, this also kind of sparked the greater conversation also. So it's like, okay, we see Blizzard bending the knee to the Chinese and whatnot. Are there any other companies that are like, you know, culturally prevalent in the US and everything that are doing so? Oh, it's like, well, come to find out, it looks like the NBA is, Apple is, Google is to a lesser extent, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that the NBA actually took some flag on that right before all this happened.
Right.
So it's like, you know, that's just like perfect timing in regards to Blizzard, just diving straight into it.
Right. Anthony, we can't hear you.
I thought the whole... Now can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought the whole NBA thing had something to do with Blizzard, because obviously I'm not American, so I'm like, why are both of these being talked about at the same time? Ooh, is gaming get into politics somehow, like in the news?
What was it? The Houston Rockets general manager, was it?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was something related to the Houston Rockets.
I support Hong Kong, and China was like, oh no, I mean, you know, we take offense to that.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course the NBA had to apologize because, you know, we do not want to upset our Chinese overlords across the seas. in spite of how we have our main focus here in the U.S. apparently. But
Right.
I'm not going to question it because again, all the money.
That's
Right.
similar to something that happened here, like with a guy who was like can't even remember what he played. I think he played rugby or something. He was like was in like the Olympics and whatever. He all he did was put out a tweet about Christianity, and he got fired.
Unfortunate.
Fired, sued, and he's never allowed to return to rugby ever.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
For one tweet.
Oh yeah, you showed me that at some point.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
So much of this.
Yeah,
I
so
swear.
I don't know. Can we just take a step back and look at it that we're in a day and age where a tweet can get you banned from a country?
That tweet can apparently get you impeached too.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure that we'll stumble over that here pretty soon.
Yeah, allegedly. But
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So yeah, it's like Apple. Most of their production still happens in China. They have a fairly big selling market in China, somewhat large. I don't know. Apple could probably do without it, but again, companies exist to make money, and so they don't want even like no matter how small the percentage of revenue is, they don't want that percentage to go away. That's the bottom line here. Apple is kind of under fire. Because over in the Hong Kong App Store, someone had uploaded an app that would let protesters communicate with each other more easily to map and track Chinese police movements and whatnot.
Ooh.
And Apple took it down from the App Store, and because they didn't want to incite violence against the Chinese police, which. Yeah,
that's kind of fair
that's somewhat reasonable because, okay, at the same time, yes, you're protecting Hong Kong protesters, but at the same time, also, there are some particularly violent ones who might lash out against the Chinese police who are just kind of doing their job also. And I'm talking about, it's like your average Chinese police officer just kind of doing his job and whatnot, Yeah. I'm not talking about...
Essentially shooting the messenger quite literally, unfortunately.
Yeah. And this is tangentially related, but on Apple's latest update, iOS 13 or whatever, they of course added more emojis to the keyboard or whatever. If you live in Taiwan, there is no Taiwanese flag for you, but if you live in the US, there is a Taiwanese flag. So, yeah. If you know any of the politics and history,
I figured that one out.
Now, if you know any of the politics and history between Taiwan and China, it's kind of made sense. And then
there's no such thing as Taiwan.
Yeah. Google also kind of got in trouble, but for a lesser extent, for a similar thing like Apple. Although I think this app was a little bit more openly hostile towards things, so it did kind of make sense for Google to ban it. I'm not necessarily, I don't always agree with Google, but it's just all right, sure, I don't blame them for banning this particular app anyway. Yeah, all right. So this whole thing, can we stop deriving moral authority from companies? Right? Yeah, can we? Why are we looking to Blizzard?
I mean, it'd be nice.
Yeah, it's why are we looking for Blizzard or Apple or Google to tell us how to feel or what we should think about certain things going on, It's just
because they gave us the fancy stuff.
I mean, that's been happening for years, though, on TV and radio and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's all. It's that's all fine and good, and it's just Apple, I know your new iPhones are made of 100% recycled metal as much as possible, and your brand new campus in California is 100% renewable. That's all fine and good, but it's just don't tell me what my opinion should be on anything,
Then there's
how much of your campus runs on freedom?
Then there's the whole argument for what cost renewable energy comes at, how solar panels are made. They say that solar panels do more damage to the earth than what coal does. Because it doesn't recycle, it can't be recycled, and it's
sure, yeah, it's I
don't know,
you can make an argument about this whole sustainability thing, but I don't know. It's the bottom line being is you get these companies that perpetuate the force for good in the world or whatever. And don't get me wrong, it's don't get me wrong, it's if you have significant wealth or influence, especially culturally and everything, as a $1 trillion company like Apple does, literally $1 trillion company, then it's just yes, it's just it is good to see them, so to speak, leading the way or whatever, or trying to make things happen culturally. But at the same time, also, that's a double-edged sword, so that when it's You know, you have to expect the backlash when you come out, when it looks like you're coming out in support of something that, you know, everyone kind of universally agrees is pretty bad, which is the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, that's like, you can't have everything in this situation, and that's what Blizzard's attempting to do alongside with other companies.
Right.
Because, you know, unfortunately, that's kind of the biggest problem in this whole situation. Because if it was national, then it's like, yeah, it's simple enough. But when you go worldwide, you know, you can't take one side without taking the other.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't work like that. You don't support and then not support human rights.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a bit of an oxymoron there.
Right. You can't. You can't do business in China and be like, oh yeah, I'm okay with, you know, the Chinese government organ harvesting and whatnot, and then turn around in the U.S. and be like, no, screw the Chinese. You know, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of companies apparently think otherwise, though, but that's kind of being pulled out into the sun now at this point.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think trying to hit the nail on the head there, saying just like, you know, Blizzard in this case is trying to have their cake and eat it too, you know, or however the saying goes.
I kind of think society kind of wants you to do that as an individual anyway, as well. Like, be supportive of one thing and also both, like, embrace both sides.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's politics or whatever issue it may be.
Right. I mean, God forbid somebody have their own opinion regardless of whatever side.
No way.
You know. It's
Hey,
like,
you have your own opinion, then you get death threats. Come on.
Right, or banned from China.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to 2019, boys and girls.
All right. Yeah. So that's the company aspect. Something a little bit lighthearted. So Mei, who, you know, as I said earlier, is ethnically Chinese and whatnot, the Overwatch character. She's turned into a symbol of protest in Hong Kong and everything, which I think is great, by the way. I think that's pretty cool. What do you guys think?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I will say this, because I find it hilarious myself, because before now, everyone has always said, Mei is the devil, or, you know, Mei is the worst character, because if you played Overwatch and you know how Mei works, you essentially know that Mei is like that one character who will just piss you off, whether if it's blocking you from being able to move forward or just freezing you in place, and you just stand there while she shoots icicles in your face.
Yeah.
But now she's being used in this, you know, pro-Hong Kong, free Hong Kong and all this stuff, and it's like, wow, I have never seen a character receive this much love. It's like if, like, Darth Vader suddenly starts wearing pink and saying, you know, whatever. But
I know.
No, that's literally what this is looking like to me, and I can't help but just laugh at the context of the situation with Mei.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, although Mei herself plays like the devil incarnate, especially to play against, you know, she is a cute character, and yeah, it's
I love Mei. She's a good character. I like her.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I just think it's funny to see that it's like, you know, they're taking the one Chinese character in Overwatch and turning her against the Chinese government in an attempt to try and get Blizzard in the bad...
With face masks and umbrellas.
Yeah, and the bad graces of China. Because the entire idea behind that is like basically for the Chinese government to crack down on Overwatch, which would hurt Blizzard, which is kind of, you know, which is kind of the point.
Oh no, that would just be like a twist of the knife right there, considering. No. Or I'm trying to remember how many Overwatch League teams are China-based again.
4
like
or 5, I think. 4? Yeah, there's like.
Yeah, so if it got banned, that's like cutting the league down by a third or a fourth of its player base. So it's like, ooh, that would be something that would really just be hurtful.
Your move, commies. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's like the Shanghai Dragons or whatever, the Beijing something, and what is Shanghai, Beijing.
I want to say that there's like 3 or 4 teams. Yeah. I mean, based out of China, because you know the majority of the teams are Korean, so why not?
Yeah. Right. All right. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, okay, Anthony, what do you think of the whole Mei thing?
I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. It's if Overwatch got banned in China, that'd be hilarious. To be honest. I mean, it probably won't happen to be honest, because it's one character being turned into something. But yeah, I think it's a good symbol that you know people are trying to kind of use a Chinese character against them, against China. So I think it's a good thing. It's pretty funny. It's yeah, hopefully something occurs where Hong Kong gets out of the issues that it's in.
Right.
Yeah, 4 teams out of China, and then 1 out of South Korea.
Okay. So yeah, that would do a significant blow to the already struggling Overwatch League. I don't know. This is I'm not sure I want to bring this up or not, actually, though, but if you go back and look at some of the Overwatch lead streams, certain hosts or, like, commentators are wearing apparel or merchandise that advocates for what would be considered a more politically divisive topic in the U.S. Like, that would qualify as in this day and age, it would qualify as still, you know, unfortunately, regarding whatever your views are on this, you know, it would still undeniably, just by definition, qualify as a controversial belief or statement. But, you know, they're wearing merchandise, you know, shirts or wristbands that take a side on this said controversial issue. And so, yeah. But, you know, Blizzard's just been fine with it.
That's what I mean. If it's a side they're happy with, then no worries, let it slide. Sweep it under the rug. Should be right.
Yeah. I will let you all do your own digging on that one without getting too far.
Enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy.
Have fun.
Yeah. So next bit here, Blizzard employees working on the campus in California have staged their own protests covering various mottos engraved around the campus, as well as a walkout that several dozen workers participated in. All right, at least it's something. Yeah, at least it's something.
I mean, if anything else, it shows that everyone within Blizzard are just, you know, not taking the side of China as everyone thinks to be. That it's, you know, it's Blizzard the company, not Blizzard the people who work there, essentially.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and you know, it's what we said at the very beginning before we got into the segment. You know, our problem isn't with the citizenry of China or anything. We have no problem if you're a Chinese person or whatever. We don't really care. Our problem is with the government of China. You know, that's the thing. Our problem is with the ruthless dictatorship that is the communist government of the People's Republic of China. To be very clear. Okay. So you guys see all the things earlier that was just like, you know, even internally Blizzard was pretty silent on the whole thing?
Yeah, again, they really didn't say much until just the other day, so... Yeah, it was quite a bit of nothing being said.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows about internally? Apparently, there was talks being done within Blizzard.
Yeah.
But of course, no information has been leaked out for that, and the Jason from Kotaku, I'm sure, he may go ahead and find that information sooner or later, but nothing as of yet.
Right. I don't know. I would kind of imagine that if you know, someone who has a lot of sources throughout the industry, like Jason Schreier or something, caught something extra spicy internally going around Blizzard, he would have said something about it on Twitter. But
I mean, he already did it for Anthem towards the start of the year, so it's like, you know, I'm sure it's only just a matter of time before something from Blizzard happens and we get another gigantic "What went wrong with Blizzard" article.
Right.
Either sometime between now and the end of the year, since I'm sure it's not going to take that long to whip that up.
Yeah. He's currently on paternity leave, though, which, by the way, wish Jason Schreier and his new family the best wishes going forward. So congratulations to him. But, yeah. Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, moving on. So Blizzard's official statement. It's like the line straight to your face in so many different places.
Yeah. Oh, it is glorious because for everyone who's been following the whole fallout of this entire situation, you will go ahead to know all the details. So the moment you go ahead to hear him say one thing or another, you can literally just go ahead and have the objection from Ace Attorney just flash in your head. And you can be able to point towards the evidence that says that's a contradiction because of this.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're going for a one world government then.
Oh my god. Are we doing like red pill conspiracy stream now? I've not nearly had enough alcohol. Anyway. Yeah, so, you know, just kind of running through it. Some of the more, like, egregious lies, I would say, that appear in here. Let's see. Every voice matters, so we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in as many places available to express themselves.
Objection.
But don't express yourself too much, okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
There's a time and a place, apparently.
Yeah. However,
our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. Well, what are your values?
Right.
To begin with.
However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. Unless you support Hong Kong, then you're not welcome. Yeah.
Be gone. We don't need that stuff here.
Yeah. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. This is the one that is just like, really? So it's like, can some other brave Hearthstone player say like, go Chinese government, murder the Hong Kong protesters, and be like...
Time out. Because literally the other day, because, just to cover another part, because during the another Hearthstone competition, I forgot the specific teams, but towards the end,
it's the American University.
You did have that whole,
yeah,
ban Blizzard, support a free Hong Kong, and guess what? They got away with that scot-free.
Yeah, they voluntarily chose. They got away with it
scot-free. Yeah. They went ahead to just, get their schedule of, okay, here are your upcoming matches, and they chose to voluntarily bow out because it's like, the point's been made. They literally did the exact same thing, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Not a good look. Because, I mean, if they punish them in the same severity, then it's like, okay, yeah, Blizzard's got a problem. Right. But then by them not moving on it, it's like, okay, so a bit of a... So, if they could get away with it, but he can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's like, oh, yeah, not good. Not good.
Right, yeah.
There was something relating to an Australian team as well. I can't remember who it was, or some Australian player, I believe. He did something similar to the whole Hong Kong thing, and he didn't get banned either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there are there are various I would deem them conflicting statements that are in Brat's apology there, and I call them conflicting just because they don't really coincide with either A, how Blizzard has acted over this past week, or B, what just Blizzard straight up said themselves. They themselves said, oh, we will work to preserve the pride and dignity of the Chinese and whatnot. So
wait, this makes no sense.
What?
First, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share his views with the world. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. What?
But just don't tell us how you feel too much, though.
We want to experience that moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together.
Yeah. I don't know. Once again,
you don't make it political, that is.
Right. I know. Once again, this is a somewhat new thing for esports. Just actual. I don't want to say actual sports, but I mean, okay. Traditional sports. Let's call it traditional sports. Like football, basketball, and whatnot. Over the years, has been used as a platform for plenty of athletes to express their political views. Look at the past 3 years with the NFL and Colin Kaepernick. Look at the whole Black Love.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, look at the whole Black Love thing that occurred a couple decades ago, etc., etc. But this whole
standing for the flag, take a knee.
Right.
It's like, yeah, a lot of people took offense to that, even though that was also a political statement.
Right, but then the official commissionary never really did anything. And however you feel about that, that's kind of besides the point here. But okay, this whole thing is kind of a new thing for esports, so to speak. It's just this hasn't really happened before. When people are interviewed after a match, or especially after winning, it doesn't really deviate further from oh, hi mom, thanks to my team. It's I love all my fans, my audience, etc. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you all, etc. No one has never won a massive StarCraft or Counter-Strike tournament and been oh, screw this one country in particular. So yeah, this is kind of a new thing.
I feel that Trump is destroying America. Oh, got alert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I also want to add, over the weekend, Blizzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong in violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Why? Because he understood that he made a mistake? Okay, sure, no worries. Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints.
Just not if it might impact us making money, though.
But you can't say one thing and turn around and make it...
yeah, and that's why Blizzard leaves it, and it's I don't know, that's why I think the point you made, Anthony, earlier would be really interesting to test out. It's it was a point that Blizzard might more clearly agree with, that they might not have penalized people, but by leaving it up to their discretion, this gives them the freedom to do that, or whatever. So...
Yeah, again, it all just comes back to the idea that had they not been so severe with the punishment, we wouldn't even be focusing on this right now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, technically a rule was broken, so okay, fine. But it's like, was literally 8 seconds warranting a full year ban and taking away $10,000 and firing 2 other guys in the process.
Right. It was just like a massive, just like knee-jerk trigger pull. You know, just yeah, you're out. What? Okay.
I've seen saw traps that have been less and more subtle than that.
Yeah.
Or punishments.
All right, and then this is I don't want to say conspiratorial, but I'm kind of the belief that this apology written by Brack wasn't fully written by him, which okay, you know, which is kind of standard for like corporate PR statement and whatnot. You have a PR team and whatnot. But what I'm more getting at is like I don't think a native English speaker wrote this, like or at least partially. I think there are some parts of it where somebody whose first language was Chinese and his second language was English wrote parts of the apology they wrote. You know, it's a couple things. Like, it sounds like there are 2 different people speaking just because of how like the tone goes kind of back and forth. And then also, in certain areas, there's a lack of conjugated verbs, and there's a lack of plurals used also. So it just kind of jumps around the whole place.
But I don't understand why he played fair. He didn't cheat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong apart from express his views at the end. Why? Who the hell are they to take his prize money off him, even though he's won and he's played fair and he's played nice and everything, just because he's expressed his political views? If that was in golf or any other sport. No way they would do that.
Okay, to be entirely...
You also have to... I'm sorry.
Oh, to get the complete story, they did restore Blizzchung's earnings.
Yeah.
And they reduced his...
Yeah, through the statement,
Yeah, and...
But, I mean, even
but,
so,
yeah,
initially.
it's like the fact that it happened at first, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing to also mention for that, because the thing we have to keep in mind here, he didn't say Hong Kong start killing people or, you know, anything like that. It's that he just said, you know, free Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything in severity of, like, you know, rise against your oppressors and, you know, shed blood or whatever.
It was
God forbid, if he actually did, then yeah, everyone would be saying, okay, yeah, this guy doesn't deserve a ban. He should be, you know, being arrested right about now. But no, he didn't do that.
Right, it's like he didn't necessarily advocate for anything breaking... Okay, I don't want to say not breaking the law because it's illegal to protest in China, but, you know, he didn't advocate violence or anything, you know? He just said it's just like freedom for Hong Kong, which... I believe I mentioned this earlier, but like Blizzchung is from Hong Kong, also. He's a Hong Kong national, you know.
And even so, like 6 months is absolutely insane. Maybe a month.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah, if it was a month, that would have been okay. That's a fair punishment.
Yeah.
You can't participate for a month, and I'm sure that, especially with BlizzCon coming up, it's like, okay, yeah, this is not the 1 month you would want to get banned if there's a really big event coming up.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, 6 months. It's like, you know, that's still a pretty big hit, all things considered.
Yeah. Luckily, though, that's just in time that if Blizzchung were to want to compete in the next Grandmaster circuit for Hearthstone, then he could. And for those who don't know, in the Hearthstone scene, the Grandmaster circuit is the biggest, like, most prestigious circuit in there. So, yeah, and he had won his... Yeah, anyway.
So his whole account and everything hasn't been banned, though. He just can't compete.
So. Yeah, he's been banned from official.
Yeah, they didn't just. Yeah, they didn't just, you know, pull the plug on his account and just take everything away from him. They just banned him for a full year, and then they cut it down to 6 months because of the backlash.
God, could you imagine if they deleted his account?
I think he deleted his own account. Okay. I think he's done.
Okay.
Well, I mean, totally understandable considering.
Yeah, which is fair enough, really.
Oh, that's kind of a decent segue into another aspect in this, is that, like, a lot of community members from, like, Blizzard esports in general, not just Hearthstone specifically, have called out Blizzard with this and whatnot. There have been a couple of StarCraft 2 players who have, like, you know, said, Blizzard, this is pretty bad. And there have also been, relating back to Hearthstone, there's really relevant figure in the community named Ryan Kibler, who was set to commentate the BlizzCon Hearthstone tournament and whatnot, voluntarily like pulled out of commentating and protest against Blizzard doing this.
Yeah, so one of the devs of WoW as well.
Oh yeah, Mark Kern. Are you talking about him?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He quit and deleted his account.
Yeah, so Mark Kern, he's no longer with Blizzard right now, but Mark Kern was one of the original developers of vanilla World of Warcraft, and I think Into the Burning Crusade. And then also, he was one of the biggest advocates that Blizzard consulted to bring classic WoW back. So,
Sure.
yeah, and Mark Kern is, I think he's I know he's a Chinese, like ethnically Chinese, and I think he grew up in Hong Kong before coming to the U.S. or something. So this issue is kind of near and dear to his heart. If you want to go follow him on Twitter, because he does do some pretty spicy things over there, I do have to say. It's pretty good. He is at Grums. That is at capital GRUMMZ. Cool dude. I like him. So anyway. Cool dude. Yeah. All right, and then while we're talking about Twitter threads, might as well talk about this too. Tim Sweeney of Epic Games fame and everything.
Let's do it.
Yep, here we go. It wouldn't be a podcast deleted without talking about Epic in some way, I guess. By the way, John.
And funny enough, this is actually him in a positive light.
I know, right? It's just like, so yeah, someone added Sweeney on Twitter saying something to the nature, hey, Tencent Media, which is the largest Chinese media conglomerate in China, as arguably the biggest media conglomerate in the world also. But yeah, Tencent Entertainment has a 40% stake in Epic Games. Yeah, as of like 2012 or so, maybe around then. It was around the time Cliff Bleszinski left, I think. And so someone said, hey, Tencent has at Tim Sweeney, Tencent has this massive stake in your company and whatnot. What would happen if, say, like, a Fortnite World Cup winner said something similar and whatnot? And he said it's just like, oh, we wouldn't punish him or anything. Make no mistake. It's just like, no matter how, it's like, I'm going to pull up the exact thread, actually. I don't want to put words in his mouth that he didn't say, but it was something to the nature of, like, we wouldn't punish him, we would support him to express his political rights and whatnot, etc., etc. Here.
Yeah, but then do we want to mention the percentage, or do we want to wait for that to be mentioned in the Twitter thread?
Didn't I already say the percentage? Like 40%?
Well, I mean, that minus just my mind for a quick sec. But yeah, whereas Tencent has 5% of Blizzard.
Oh,
Tencent has 40% of Epic.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty significant margin where it's like, yeah, if Blizzard's acting this scared of 5% of their company, how would Epic react to their 40% suddenly being like, yeah, no, we do not want you to be having people talk about this, or else.
Okay. All right.
Or, that's more or less paraphrasing.
Yeah. Okay, so here's how things went down. So this whole Blizzard story really kicked off on Tuesday, okay? Because it kind of happened overnight while Americans were asleep and whatnot. So we woke up to this whole thing on Tuesday morning. And then the day after, Wednesday, Jason Schreier said on Twitter, it'll be fascinating to see what Blizzard does and says today. Do they backtrack, risking the loss of billions of dollars as a result? Or do they continue supporting an authoritarian regime, alienating fans and employees in their never-ending pursuit of growth capitalism owns? Anyway, someone replied to him, I'm more interested in what at Tim Sweeney Epic has to say. His company is 40% owned by Tencent after all. Tim Sweeney replied with, Epic support the rights of Fortnite players and creators to speak about politics and human rights. And then someone started speaking in hypotheticals. So if, say, at Tfue, who is a very prolific and skilled Fortnite player and streamer, said free Hong Kong in a post-game interview, you wouldn't do anything? Tim Sweeney said, exactly. And then someone further continued the thread saying, I thought your company had a majority investor from the Chinese. Surely it would just end up in a similar situation. Investor pulls out, big chunk of cash flow. It's not the right decision to make, but I'm sure it puts any company on the edge. Tim Sweeney said, Epic is still a US company and I'm the controlling shareholder. Tencent is an approximately 40% shareholder, and there are many other shareholders, including employees and investors. So, that's pretty good positioning there by Tim Sweeney. And then he went on to say, Epic doesn't take a position on politics, and we don't endorse players' political views. We just seek to be neutral and non-judgmental of players and hope everyone reaches an amicable conclusion.
And then with the whole, like, 40%'s big cut there, they're already apparently pulling out of the NBA, blah, blah. So then he said, yes, absolutely, that will never happen on my watch as the founder, CEO, and controlling shareholder. Then Jason Schreier. Kudos for you for saying this, Tim.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's
but
good,
now the
he's in a
question-
positive life once.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is good that he has said this, but now it's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, so they'll, what if it actually does happen, though? Like, let's say that some Fortnite player decides, okay, let's play this game then.
Yeah.
They win the tournament, they go to say free Hong Kong, and then suddenly it's like, imagine for a moment, he says free Hong Kong, whatever, and then suddenly the broadcast just shuts off, or
Right.
switches camera angles to the announcers, or they just try to cut the focus off from it suddenly. Then
Well,
it's
I
like, okay, so yeah, you kind of backtracked it again, didn't you?
I don't know, even that would be more agreeable
Hypothetically,
than,
mind you.
like, if they just did that, though. Like, if they simply just cut the camera off and, like, cut to a new scene or whatever, even that would be, like, more agreeable than, banning the player, Like,
Well, I mean, the kind of thing is that, they cut off the camera first, cut to the commercial, and then a little short time later, they did go ahead and ban the guy. But then, for the very short term, it's like they cut off the camera and go somewhere else. A lot of people are going to be going like, oh boy, here we go, something's going to happen.
yeah.
But of course, who knows if they would actually ban him or not. Knowing the people from Epic, they would probably take what happened with Blizzard and be like, okay, so let's not do this, but let's do something that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
Something to which it's like fans would be like, okay, that's fair. And it's like, Blizzard just takes another hit because of how they looked greedy and incompetent.
Mhm.
Or not greedy and incompetent, but rather like, they were so severe in their punishment, whereas Epic is over here being like, well, you shouldn't have done that, and we do have to do something. So,
Right.
who knows how that's going to play out, of course, if that actually happens. Hopefully it doesn't, but, in this day and age, there are a lot of people that have no problem with pulling the trigger if you give them the gun.
And, okay, so Tim Sweeney can say it. No, it's like, it's nice of Tim Sweeney to say all this and adopt what I would say is like, is the correct way to handle this, or, have a, it's like, it's good that Tim Sweeney is taking what I would consider a positive stance on the whole thing, but it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to do something. So if put in the situation, I would be really curious to see as to what Tim Sweeney or, Epic would do as a whole.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, and that's the other thing we have to keep in mind, too, because not to make it a running joke for every time I get to be on the podcast or anything, but it's like every time that we have talked about Epic, it's, they're making a greedy move. They're doing
Right.
stuff that's, they want more money. So
Right.
by all means. So it's like, in this situation, it's like, for people who read Tim Sweeney's response, it's like, okay, that's nice and all, but your previous history would kind of say that if the situation was put before you, you would actually react otherwise because money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mind you, I don't know how much of the influence the Chinese market has had on the Epic Game Store. That would be an interesting topic to explore, but then
Right.
again, I highly doubt that there's information about that floating around.
Right, exactly. And so the more, yeah, I don't know, it'd be like, if this ever came up in like Fortnite or another Epic game, or whatever, it's like, what would happen? It'd be fun to, I don't want to say it'd be fun to test, because, I would hate for like, Tfue or, any other Fortnite player to win some significant tournament, but then have it like taken away under the false pretense that, Epic said, oh, they wouldn't do it. But, you never know until you find out, I guess. So.
Yeah, I may not care about Fortnite, but I don't want to start experimenting with other games and other people because it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I think Ninja's actually done something similar.
Has he?
With relating to some, it wasn't something to do with Hong Kong, but it was relating to some very controversial issue.
Okay.
I don't think they did anything about it. It may not have been during a tournament though. I think it might have been like a TwitchCon or something, perhaps.
Okay.
I think he's done something similar though.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see when it comes down to it how Epic does, how we do, what it do. Okay. Yeah, I think
Lengthy intro for you.
I think that's all encompassing of the whole Blizzard meltdown the past week. TLDR, human rights are good, Chinese government bad, support human rights, Blizzard It's just like,
Good plan.
yeah, Blizzard bent the knee to the Chinese government here. We think it's bad, and we're not going to tell you what to think. We're only going to provide you make your own opinion on what to think. We're only going to give you our opinions.
But let us know what you think. We'd be very
Yes.
interested to hear your perspective.
Yes, hit us up in the community
Yes.
Discord.
Or in a comment.
Yes, either of those are fine. Okay, so I never want to talk about this again.
Oh no, everyone's in agreement on that for sure, that we just need to move away from this whole Blizzard controversy altogether. But the problem though is that, just to, one final note, how
Yeah.
far are we from BlizzCon? Literally like what, 2-3
Less than a
weeks
month.
away?
Less than a month.
Yeah, so it's like, if anything else, Blizzard needs to, or this is obviously was an attempt to be in damage control, but then at the same time though, it's like, yeah, Blizzard's gonna have to start bending over backwards like 10 times over, because that if they don't do anything soon, we're gonna get Hong Kong Maze and certain cartoon bears, suddenly invading BlizzCon, or at least at the, or at least as a minimum. There will be a protest right outside where it's like you're gonna be seeing people with certain outfits saying boycott Blizzard.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be a bigger mess than it was from last year, honestly. So it's like,
Oh, God.
that's kind of what everyone's starting to look forward to at this point. It's
I
like,
know. That's the total
is this
meltdown
what's
that
gonna
BlizzCon will be. Oh, that'll be
yeah,
great.
no, and yeah, it's going to suck. But then at the same time, though, it's like for the short term, it's going to be probably one of the most hilarious things that it's ever going to happen. And it's probably going to make the EA E3 conference from earlier this year just look like paradise.
This like all the other bad players in the industry, this makes them look really good. Like, I don't know, the worst thing EA does is just be kind of a greedy
They
to
just
your
take your
face.
money.
Yeah, it's like they just
Bethesda has
want
been
more and more.
greedy. EA has been greedy.
Yeah.
But I
Ubisoft
mean,
has been greedy.
Bethesda
Activision
got out
Blizzard?
in front of it, though.
Yeah.
That's the
Mm.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, with EA, with like Bethesda and their questionable business practices over the past 2 years or so, with other players in the industry, it's just like at least they're open about their greed. This is Blizzard trying to preserve as much of it as possible in a very shady way.
I
No,
mean, we're
and
not-
that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're not talking about Nintendo yet. Did you hear about the whole Mario Kart Tour thing?
No.
They had a
Oh, wait, did we talk about? That wasn't talked about? Okay, well, I
No,
guess we
no,
could
no.
squeeze that in right
Oh,
now.
sweet Jesus. Okay.
Very quickly relating to greed. So Mario Kart Tour is obviously out of mobile Mario Kart game. They released a Diddy Kong pack, I think it was, with some new tracks or Diddy Kong and like a cart or something. Guess how much it was? Just take a guess. In pounds, mind you, in pounds.
40 pounds.
Okay, I was gonna say I know what it was.
40 pounds. That was
Dollars.
39
Did I
pounds.
seriously nail it?
Yeah, you were a pound
Oh.
off.
Okay, wow.
30.
Give or take.
That's more expensive than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch.
Mario Kart is Mario Party on wheels. Okay, yeah.
That's Andrew's viewpoint.
Yeah, no, that's a good take
I
right
don't
there.
know.
Okay.
I don't know. I try to avoid Mario Party like the plague, honestly.
He does too,
Yeah.
don't worry.
But that's just pure greed, in my opinion.
So
That's
what, just
ridiculous.
for a character?
Character, some tracks, and Diddy Kong's car.
Well, at the launch of Mario Kart Tour, Mario with the card and the thing was like $20. Or you could go ahead to, shoot out pipes to rub one off to try to get a chance to get the character.
Mm.
And that's also been a rather funny part of the loot box there, for sure.
You know what?
and that-
I quit the industry later. Yep. No.
They were saying
Oh,
how.
wait! You need to get Mario Tokyo Tour!
Oh, yeah, that
This
looks
is
pretty
going
cool.
on right now, guys!
That looks pretty cool though.
And the
Excellent.
the like VIP pass or whatever it's called in Mario Kart Tour is more expensive than Nintendo's online service that gives you NES and SNES games.
Mhm.
And don't forget that the cost of the monthly pass for Mario Kart Tour is about the same cost as the, what was it called again? The Apple Store button.
Yeah.
That's also the exact same cost that gives you access to like 30 to 50 games.
Oh, $5? Okay.
Done!
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo, if you keep it on mobile, fine, but do not bring this nonsense to the consoles, or you will be hearing from
I
us.
can't
Hot
imagine
take: Nintendo's greedy. Simple.
I don't know.
As far as mobile goes, yeah.
I don't think it's a
No.
hot take. Like, I don't know. Nintendo has no problem charging money for things, you know? It's just like Breath of the Wild is still $60 almost 3 years later, you know?
Oh god, you could get Rosalina right now for $20.
I don't understand how you can spend so much money on a mobile game. I really don't. I don't really mobile game myself, but okay. Anyway.
It's easy, I'll say that much, but...
Okay, fair enough. I guess, yeah. Yeah, okay. You know what? The biggest takeaway from, you know, both the Mario Kart thing and the whole Blizzard thing and all things around that is that corporations exist to make money. Plain and simple. That is, if you're to take anything away out of this whole argument, or out of this whole thing, is that corporations exist to make money. Alright, so speaking of corporations making money, Blizzard is looking to make some more, especially in the Chinese market with the now infamous Diablo Immortal. I mean, we all have phones here, right?
Well, I mean, I keep flashing mine every time I'm on here, so
yeah, exactly.
I hope so.
Okay.
No, but yeah, the funny thing is that with how much focus Blizzard has gone this week, it was really hard to be able to find stories not related to Blizzard.
I know.
And even so, the only one I could find that was of note, mind you, ironically enough, was still tied in with Blizzard. But anyway, to go ahead and cover it, apparently for some locations, they believe that the release date for Diablo Immortal has been leaked.
Okay. That
over on the, well, to go ahead and read the article here, with BlizzCon coming in less than a month, rumor mills are starting to turn. Leaks are coming through from different locations, blah, blah, blah. That apparently that on the 25th of October, for Android and iOS, according to the leak, that's when we're going to be getting Diablo Immortal. The only catch, though, is that this is only being shown from what it looks like within the Chinese market.
Oh.
So it's hard to say if on the 25th of October, if it will indeed launch or not at that time, or if it could be a case to where it's like, you know, it launches in China, but it's not going to launch in the US until a little later on. Mm-hmm. To which, if it launches before BlizzCon, then I guess you could say that they dodge a bullet because it's like, you know, why would we talk about a game that's currently out? Ha 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 ha.
Because everybody can hate it.
Yeah, but you see, they can't hate on a game if the game has already come out and they don't wish to talk about it because it's already out.
Yeah.
Mind you, that of course, that this one was one I found really quickly. I don't know if it's actually something that has happened or is actually something for real or not. I wasn't able to verify it.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder, would Blizzard, or I mean, mind you, that this must have come up before this whole nonsense with the controversy happened with Hearthstone, but kind of makes me wonder, do you think that they would try to get Diablo Immortal out in the market before BlizzCon just so that they could avoid, don't you guys have cell phones year two?
Dude, this is like, I'm not sure there's a good way out of this, because I guarantee you, like, maybe this is like me being pessimistic here overtly, but I guarantee you Diablo Immortal will be riddled with all variants of like microtransactions, you know, egregious purchases, stuff like that. And I mean,
it's Activision Blizzard.
Yeah,
so
a week before BlizzCon, it's like you're gonna stir the pot even more beforehand, because now people just have one more thing to get pissed off at you about before they come to see you, you know?
Hey, sometimes when there's a raging fire, the best way to put it out is by pouring more gasoline on it.
True. So
don't you know that's how it works?
Yeah, I don't know. There's the old saying, it's like, you know, put out an oil fire by lighting a bigger one next to it. But okay, yeah, this, I don't know. I wouldn't agree with this move by Blizzard. I strongly disagree.
And again,
that this is a poor life choice.
Yeah, who knows if this is actually going to happen or not, but, you know, it kind of makes me feel like that if they do actually fall through with this, then it's like, okay, then maybe they're just trying to avoid Diablo Immortal being talked about at BlizzCon. Or if they do talk about it, it'll just be talked about away from, you know, the crowds, I mean, the booing crowds, so that it's like, you know, at least we could talk about it safely without having to worry about it. Then the worst thing, and worst case scenario there is just a whole lot of downvotes.
Yeah. You know what's like really fascinating to me though is like, so Diablo is by far Blizzard's like most goriest game, right? It's like, we all agree with that. You know, it's like it's the most deathly
and most
game
action-packed,
and Blizzard.
Yeah.
But like in China, the censorship laws are such that it's like, you know, media can't really depict bones or like blood and guts and gore and whatnot.
No skulls.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, I don't understand why Diablo Immortal or Diablo just in general seems to be so popular over there. You know, it's like, I'm sure it's highly censored, don't get me wrong, but like, out of all their IPs to push into China, why Diablo? You know, why the goriest title?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they said that Diablo Immortal was being produced by Tencent, so...
It's
I'm
NetEase.
sure that if anything...
NetEase.
NetEase, okay, yeah, NetEase, but that's still China anyway. So I'm sure that if you were to go ahead to try to have a game to be pushed on the China market, it probably helps to have Chinese developers or whatever have their hands on it to go to make sure that it runs smoothly enough. But yeah, at that same point though, like you said, that Diablo is not exactly StarCraft or Warcraft or even Overwatch. Because yeah, that's definitely like, you know, the cinematic for one of them is literally a guy blowing up in a bloody pile of himself.
Right.
Kind of hard to go ahead and figure out a fun way to work around that.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that was just a point I want to bring up. Anthony, what do you think? Diablo Immortal gonna flop?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Simple as that.
Yep.
The easiest yes or no question you could possibly ask in this whole entire podcast.
I know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, this might be a poor life choice by Blizzard here, releasing this a week before BlizzCon.
But there's so many games like Diablo already on mobile.
I know.
Like all these Chinese rip-offs and this, that, and everything else.
Yeah.
They've announced it. I mean, any mobile game that's kind of announced recently has flopped. But look at Call of Duty Mobile. It came out of nowhere. We didn't really know it was coming out. I mean, it was kind of announced, but it was like, it's there and it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've hyped. Not that they've hyped it, but like they've given. It's been announced for too long. I feel it's getting stale. I don't reckon it's gonna get. I'm not getting it.
Yeah,
even though I like Diablo, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually thought it was already out in China, to be honest.
No, they're waiting for the approval, which is all the more reason why that some people thought that Blizzard was spending the game.
Okay.
Because it's like, you know, if they're waiting for Call of Duty to get approved, but then this controversy happens, last thing you want to do is piss off China, and they suddenly say, okay, you know what, this Call of Duty mobile game? Denied!
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I have money to make, come on, don't screw this up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, you know what, instead of Call of Duty mobile or Diablo Immortal, I'm just gonna stick with the game that everyone knows will be good. Mario Kart World Tour.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Support Nintendo.
And spend my life savings about... Alright,
I'm gonna use up all my money to get Peach in a kimono.
Yeah. Worth it, worth it. Alright, so, you know what? I'm done talking about games I don't want to play, okay? Let's talk about a game I actually kind of want to play. Anthony, go for it.
Yes. Now I'm extremely hyped for this. This is announced at this year's E3. The Microsoft.
First and only good news we're gonna get today.
There's kind of two small things that I've got to cover. So this was announced at Microsoft's E3 booth. And I reckon this is going to release before Reach. To be honest, on PC. In my opinion, I reckon this will release before Reach.
You think Reach will reach a point, where you know, it said we should just redevelop the game from scratch natively on PC as opposed to, you know, trying to port it anyway. Go ahead.
They probably won't even port it. I reckon they'll probably just give up. Microsoft Flight Simulator alpha testing begins soon. If you haven't already enrolled in this, I can't because it's stupid. Every time I go and submit the form with the can't remember what the document's called, with all your system specs and everything, it crashes. So brilliant.
Beautiful.
Good job, Microsoft. So Microsoft Flight Simulator's technical alpha recruitment comes to an end next week, but only because the alpha build is almost ready for release. Prospective players will start receiving confirmation that they've been accepted on October 17th, while access to the skies will be finally granted on October 24th. A second alpha will kick off in November, with recruitment for that expected to begin near the end of the month. In the meantime, however, the first episode of the feature Discovery series has launched, showcasing the weird planet that you'll be flying over, which is obviously Earth. Earth's quite large as it happens, and with this big scale comes a lot of data. Bing Maps, whoever uses them anymore, gave the team 2 petabytes of data that included more than 2 million cities and 45,000 airports.
That's 2,048 terabytes, by the way.
2,048 terabytes, cool. Yep. Which obviously includes all the roads and mountains of the world. when Andy Kelly, which is obviously a writer for PC Gamer, went for a fly. He flew over New York and the Himalayas and then his old house in Glasgow. You can go anywhere and it should mimic the real world location. That means Microsoft Flight Sim pilots can fly using visual flight rules, essentially able to navigate just by looking around, which is similar to what Flight Simulator X used, but the graphics were real bad. As well as the big maps data, the studio uses Microsoft Azure to generate even more data, allowing it to detect all the trees in the world, which amounts to around 1.5 trillion trees.
Sweet Jesus.
Brilliant. It also adds data that improves building generation, getting the shapes and colors right, along with the added missing buildings. The video also reassures pilots that you'll be able to play even if you don't have great bandwidth for streaming. Microsoft Flight Simulator uses the adaptive streaming, and there's an offline mode that uses real-life data and is apparently still good enough so you can fly using VFR. You can also choose regions to pre-cache, letting you enjoy the same quality as you would if you were online.
Man.
All the data that Microsoft has at its fingertips is mind-boggling. The small details need to be generated procedurally. Stuff like dirt, grass, artificial lighting at night. Just put that in perspective. This game, where you will spend most of your time miles and miles above the ground, still has individual blades of grass. So brilliant. So there's a video on PCGamer.com. Super pumped for this. It looks very cool. It's got commentary as well. The water looks amazing.
Okay.
We just say it looks real. It looks very real. I'm hoping that it's going to take like a Flight Simulator X route as far as there's going to be missions and stuff that you can do, or like flights and all that kind of thing. Not what's it called, X-Plane 11. So keen for it.
Yeah, super keen for it. And this is coming a lot sooner than I thought it would, actually.
Yeah.
It's already in alpha. This is like feasibly, this could be like a summer 2020 release.
Yeah, I'm thinking it will be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it may be a release, like a release game for Xbox, whatever the heck they're going to call it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, looks.
It would be a hell of a launch title for the next system for sure.
Got Halo Infinite.
You know, what better way to showcase it?
Yeah, Halo Infinite and or Flight Sim. Nice.
Both. Why not?
Yeah, both. Why not?
Well, I mean, I thought they confirmed that Infinite was going to be a launch title for the next system, but
they did.
I mean, the flight simulator, that could be a really good way to showcase the hardware and, you know, just how powerful it could be, maybe. So,
yeah,
definitely.
And honestly, you know, I'm not really one for the flight simulators myself, but, you know, if that's something that's on there, and depending on how good it looks, I might actually give that a shot, honestly.
And this will be the first flight sim coming to consoles as well. I don't think there's ever been a flight sim on consoles yet.
Oh, yeah, that's another reason why.
Oh, yeah, this has been a PC-only thing for such a long time.
Yeah. Because you can hook up like flight yokes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, super keen for it.
Okay.
If you're not, check it out. Go have a look. If you like flying or whatever, then that's cool.
All right. And then what's the other thing you got?
So this is another small thing. A new feature coming to Steam. So Steam's Remote Play Together will introduce online support for all local multiplayer games. So according to the announcement, Remote Play Together will enter Steam beta soon and will allow 2 or more players to enjoy local multiplayer games over the internet together. The announcement goes on, all local multiplayer, local co-op and split screen games will be automatically included in the Remote Play Together beta, which will plan to launch the week of October 21st. So this feature is already out for devs, developers. It's already been developed and everything. They're just waiting to release it. NVIDIA also uses similar functionality in its GeForce Experience app, and low latency game streaming services like Parsec have supported it for a while. As the name implies, it basically allows users to remote play function to simulate the experience of playing together in a room, short of having the other players actually in the room. Now, does this mean that only one person needs a game to play?
No, I don't. Maybe actually, yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
Kind of hard to say, honestly.
Yeah, so
I think it does. Otherwise, it's just multiplayer.
Yeah, if the game supports like split screen or something, which plenty of PC games do and whatnot, then I think this is saying that it's just like you could play it online with your friends even if they don't have the game, because you know they'll kind of simulate the split screen experience, so to speak. I think this is kind of
cool for co-op.
Yeah, I like this. Cool.
Definitely.
This is cool. Yeah. Mike, what you
for
think?
A lot of people who like aren't that big into gaming or whatever, and if you want to just jump on with a friend or something and run through a game or play Minecraft or something like that, and
Yeah.
they don't need to own the game.
Okay.
Honestly, it's kind of making me think of how, and again, not to tie it back to the Epic Game Store, but it's like thinking of how long that the Epic Game Store has been out and how it seems like they haven't really added that many new features to their platform since launch. Meanwhile, you have Steam over here that have been seemingly silent, but now it's like they are now introducing this new remote play. It's like, look at this. Steam is actually adding more stuff on top of what they already have right now.
The past couple of weeks, Steam's been on fire with aren't they doing a new layout or something?
Yeah, so if you opt into
Steam has been busy for these last few weeks for sure. So it's like, Steam is actually showing people where it's like, previously I would have said, Steam's doing absolutely nothing and they're still winning for reasons. But Steam's actually showing either they're taking the Epic Store seriously enough to where it's like they're actually adding more innovation to their system, or they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're expanding on what they have and, improving stuff and at the same time, introducing features that we didn't think would be possible. In this case, the remote play.
Yeah, it does kind of seem
I'm sure
like...
it was possible, but,
Yeah, it does kind of seem like Steam is trying to feel in the pressure a little bit just from the various other competitors in the market, which is good. Competition is good. It drives innovation.
Definitely, it's healthy.
Drives more features, yeah. It's important, competition makes it so that the market doesn't go stagnant, which is good. That benefits the consumer. Anyway, with that, it's like, so the whole Steam redid their, at least their library UI, and it's already kind of out now. So if you go to your Steam preferences and opt into the Steam beta, you can get it. And it looks pretty slick, okay. I'm not going to lie. So what you do is if you pull up your Steam client, go into the top left, go to settings, and then go to account, beta participation, hit the change, and hit the Steam beta update. And then Steam will need to restart and download, but then you'll have the new library.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, alright, so...
Oh yeah, remote play. It's already here already. That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fun.
Well, fun
Good to know.
Yeah, that's fun. Cool. Anything else to say about this?
No, but how did you go to the beta thing? So settings...
So, go...
Settings,
interface. Steam, settings, go to account.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And then beta participation. Change it to Steam beta update.
Restart Steam.
Yep.
Bang.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. And yeah,
sure,
all right.
Why not? I'll do it too.
At the moment, Steam looks like a 1990s website or something that you developed in high school.
Yeah. Hey, those are the greatest, okay? Stop.
Well, again, that's kind of another thing that we could also say as well, considering that, we're not exactly doing this for the Epic Game Store right now, that Steam has caught our attention by continuing to innovate their platform and bringing in more things to go to give people reasons like, Steam has all, and are trying to buy up all these exclusives, but do you want a platform that actually works?
Right, yeah.
If so, check out what we got.
Right, and I mean, Steam is still by far the most functional platform of any of the other PC game like stores or like digital library clients. So
definitely.
You know what really pisses me off about the Epic Game Store? Because like the past two games I'm reviewing here have been on the Epic Game Store. The client on your PC, you can't redeem a code to. You have to go to the actual Epic Game Store website, sign in, redeem a code, and then the client will let you download it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's ridiculous.
It never ends. It never ends.
Okay.
Oh dear. So Taylor, what is Modern Warfare declaring warfare on your hard drive, or
It
what?
is. Yes, thank you for bringing that pun back. I tried to put it in the title, but Mitzer thought the title was too long. Anyway, so yeah, Modern Warfare is launching an offensive on your hard drive space. We got reports, official from Infinity Ward. Call of Duty, this came with the greater release of PC specs and whatnot, but that Infinity Ward is asking for. Modern Warfare requires 175 gigabytes of hard drive space.
On PC.
On PC, yeah. Which is the highest of any PC game thus far. Okay, for reference, RDR2 would have dethroned it, but because RDR2 got confirmed to take up to 150 gigabytes of space. Okay, yeah. And then the other thing that came close was Final Fantasy 15, which managed to eat up 148 gigs if you installed the 4K texture pack.
Wow.
Yeah, so 175 gigabytes.
Have they explained why?
Yeah, kind of. So they said that they're reserving space for DLC that they might want to add in the future. So that
Because of course.
yeah, so it's like the approach here is that they're going to take one lump sum off your hard drive, so to speak, at first, so that in the future the install size just doesn't keep growing and growing and growing and growing. So, which I don't know. That could kind of be more convenient for some people because then it's like for at least Modern Warfare, you never have to worry about like clearing space off a drive again for it, or whatever, depending.
Well, I think ESO does the same thing.
Yeah.
With all of their packs that they've got, so you download the whole game,
Uh-huh.
and then when you if you want to change regions or whatever, you
Yeah.
just buy the new DLC,
Mhm.
and then you can just access it straight away. It doesn't have to download.
Okay.
I kind of see Modern Warfare doing. What game did this a while? I think it was Fallout 76. Funnily enough, it was like 70 gig, 76 gig. There you go.
Yeah.
I think it was like 70 gig or something
Yeah.
initially, and then after a couple of months, I think they completely uninstalled the game, compacted it, and then brought it down to like 40 gig or something. I want to say.
Okay.
So I kind of think Modern Warfare may do the same thing, like take out a massive chunk, and then once the whole game's completed with all DLC and everything, it might just be like 80 or
Yeah, this is
20 or something.
Yeah, this is like also it's like they can tweak this as it goes on, so they might do that. I don't know. But relating back to the system specs and whatnot, kind of the greater part of this whole thing, they're actually pretty light even for recommended. So it's like you recommended.
Oh yeah.
Intel Core i5 2500K. That's an 8-year-old
Wow.
processor. Or first generation Ryzen R5 1600X. Okay. Graphics card. GTX 970. That is like 4 years?
Yeah.
5 or 5. I think
It's
closer to
4 or
5 years.
5.
Yeah, it's like 5-year-old
Yeah.
graphics card. Not horrible. Yeah, but then hard drive is where it kind of dings you. 175 gigs of space. So if you're someone who's hard drive troubled, then maybe start clearing some space now if you're looking forward to Modern Warfare. And then memory, 12 gigs. Most PCs or like gaming PCs will have 16 at this point. But if you still only have 8, it'll still work just fine. Anyway, so
There was, yeah.
I'm still super excited about Modern Warfare.
This beta ain't working, it keeps crashing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of looping on me too, but that's beside the point. I don't know. I mean, again, not to go ahead and keep talking about Activision Blizzard as a whole, but yeah, considering the earlier stories of just the kind of microtransactions that are going to be coming into Modern Warfare, it does have a lot of people kind of split on it yet again.
Yeah.
Even though that, honestly, I would say that out of all the years of having to put up with Call of Duty, this is probably the one that's actually caught my attention. And I'm usually the guy who, doesn't even bat an eye at the yearly Call of Duty game, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't bother with any of the other Call of Duty games for like the last 5 to 10 years, because essentially they're all the same. You can go to argue otherwise, but it's like, I don't see anything that's being done here that's supposed to catch my attention.
Sure.
And yet, what they're doing here for the story mode, I will admit, it's like, okay, I'm interested. I want to see how this plays out. I'm not going to buy it, but I may certainly get it from Redbox.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, though, I have to remind myself that, they already have the plans in here for what they've done with Black Ops 4 and Crash and Team Racing, that they're just going to be stuffing this in with the microtransactions after its launch. Not beforehand, or not at the time of launch, but like a month afterwards. And it's like, please, just release the game straight out, or if you're going to have the microtransactions, just be blatant about your cheapness and greed, please, like all other companies.
Right.
Be like EA, have your greed just be out in the open, please.
God, I can't believe we just told
It's
the
not that
company to
hard.
be like EA.
I'm
We
sorry, at
need
this
more
point.
EAs in the world at this point.
I'm sorry.
I mean, Call of
need
Duty
more-
hasn't been that bad.
And we need EA greed. We need Ubisoft greed. We do not need Activision greed.
Yeah, true.
Come on.
True.
I mean,
please, and I don't want to be talking about this greed. That's the
Ubisoft
point.
greed, you just release a game that doesn't even work.
And still
in the
charge
first
egregious amounts of money for it.
You have, and yeah, Ubisoft greed is basically not just trying to get through a game quick enough, but rather we have currency that you can get more currency with that currency.
Woo!
Currency.
Buy our currency.
Currency.
Yeah. So.
Ghost Recon.
Yeah. What do you guys think will be the first game to crack the 200 gig mark? I'm thinking either Cyberpunk or the Final Fantasy VII remake.
I'm gonna say, I reckon it's gonna be, well, yeah, it could very well be the Final Fantasy VII because it's episodic.
Yeah. Well, no, even just like one episode, like the first episode that releases in March or whatever next year. Like, I'm thinking that might actually crack 200.
Maybe.
Okay.
I will put my bet down for GTA 6 if and when that happens.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be easy.
I feel like that's, yeah, because, I mean, Cyberpunk is going to be a big game, as is Final Fantasy VII Remake, but honestly, I feel like that those games are probably going to be on par with what we've seen already from other high-performance games. But it's like, I feel like that those games, they're still going to be like, you know, they're going to be great to look at and they're going to be huge, but then at the same time, I don't know if they're really going to be tipping 200 gigabytes, whereas it feels like with each new GTA title, they always try to be pushing just how big they can go to make the locations.
Yeah.
And honestly, it feels like that's whatever the next GTA game is. I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow manage to make it straight out of like 3 states or whatever.
Okay.
Could be fun.
I'm gonna say Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. No, that could be.
It's possible.
Or actually, no, Flight Simulator.
Oh God. No,
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, maybe that one could do it actually.
Depending on how many like you would cache onto your system, then yeah, probably. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a big core of it is gonna be like streaming the data as you need it, which I don't know. Microsoft kind of flexing the whole like Azure thing that they're going for. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, who knows how how much bigger games are going to be?
Mhm.
Because yeah, the next generation is right around the corner, and who knows how much more demanding things are going to get.
God, at what point do we say enough is enough?
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
there's
I know.
plenty of ways you could say enough is
I know.
enough, but
I don't know.
we
so
want to
what-
make sure we're saying it for the things we want to say enough is enough, not for other aspects.
Anthem.
Yeah.
At what point does it go the other
Yes.
way though? Like, does it start getting smaller through like compressing?
Well, I was
tech
going to
or
bring that up
whatever?
actually, though. It's like, I don't want to be a doomsayer here or anything, or say it's like, oh, the end of the world is coming or anything like
Doomslayer?
that. But like,
Oh, wait a second, that's another thing.
but like, oh, Doom Eternal? I don't think so.
No.
Oh, no. What I was
Okay.
going to say was that was another thing that happened this week, that Doom Eternal got
Oh,
pushed
it got
back
pushed
to
back,
March.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Fascinating
funny
choice
enough-
by Bethesda.
Well, no. Not just that, but I think it's March the 20th, which is the same time that Animal Crossing is coming out. So yeah, we're gonna have
You're gonna
Animal Crossing
you're gonna love
versus Doom
that.
Eternal.
You're gonna love that, I must say. It's awesome. Good job.
It's going down for real, guys. Make sure to support Animal Crossing, the more sinful game of the two. I'm working on that, by
There's
the way.
one where you ruthlessly rip and tear the demons from hell, and the other is Doom.
You Doom, and you ruthlessly construct a town.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Hellspawn creatures, and then the other's Doom. Oh man. I don't know. That's kind of a fascinating choice by Bethesda. Alright, so now they have to compete with The Last of Us 2. They have to compete with, right? Last of Us 2 is coming out in March, right?
February 21st.
Oh, okay. Roughly around then. Okay. Yeah, they have to compete with The Last of Us 2, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk. Yeah. Okay.
There's gonna be
Animal
so much
Crossing.
in Jan, Feb, March.
Yeah. All right. What
It's gonna be
was the other?
ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so what I was gonna say is like I'm not trying to be like a Doom Slayer or a Sayer, not Slayer.
Doom Slayer.
Yeah, man, got
Okay,
that on.
sorry about that. I left so hard, and I literally knocked out the connectors out of my computer just now.
Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, not to be a Doom Slayer or anything, but like compression technology and algorithms has what?
It's for a game name. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
We are the Doomsayers.
Yeah.
Keep going. Continue. Please do. Pig Eat Ball, by the way. That's the name of the game.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
Yeah. Compression technology is not caught up with storage technology.
Yeah.
So, but luckily,
when that'll happen. Maybe 5G.
I don't think it'll ever happen, to be honest, because like storage technology is just kind of like kept getting better and cheaper and whatnot. Like you can buy a 30 terabyte hard drive, which is absolutely insane, by the way. But like that's readily available for consumers now.
Yeah.
As long as you can afford the asking price for it, but it's no longer just it's a few thousand, but it's no longer just like the commercial product, you know. So that's kind of a good step forward. And then we're also seeing like solid state storage become faster and faster also. So
yeah, we kind of live in that wonderful day and age where it's like, you know, even a gigabyte back in the day was seen like, who could use a gigabyte of data on their computers?
Yeah.
Whereas it's like nowadays, it's like people, you know, the idea of terabytes and, you know, how big you could have your storage units to hang on to stuff. It's simply incredible how far technology has come over the years.
Yeah, by the time we're retired, we'll be thinking a terabyte is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in my day, a terabyte used to hold all your information.
Yeah.
Back in my day, download speeds were 5 megabytes a second.
Yeah, we'll all be playing bingo in the COD retirement home and being like...
Fiber wire was the greatest thing that only like 2 cities only had back in the days.
Download a gigabyte in 8 minutes. Or not, in 8 seconds, sorry. 8 seconds, not 8 minutes, 8 seconds.
What's a gigabyte, Dad? It's like...
Yeah.
Stop reminding me that I'm old.
Yeah. It's like, we'll just eat terabytes like a pennies, you know. What? That's good.
Seagate 3 terabyte portable hard drive, $99. That's decent.
Yeah.
Well, that's cheap.
And
that's Australian dollars too, by the way.
Yeah. You should fit 15 Modern Warfares on that thing.
Yay!
Don't know what I would use with 15 Modern Warfares, but I'll come up with something.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think that's gonna just about wrap up the show, except for the games releasing this next week. So, what do we got here, Anthony?
Lots of stuff. So starting off on October 15th, coming to PC, we have Out Buddies, which is October 15th. Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip is going to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 15th as well. Children of Mortar is going to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 15th and November 20th for Switch. The Eyes of Ara is going to Switch on October 15th. Disco Elysium is going to PC on October 15th as well. Morals The Hunt is going to PC on October 15th. Overwatch is going to Switch on October 15th as well. Override Next City Brawl is going to Switch on October 15th as well. The Witcher 3 Complete Edition is going to Switch.
You mean the Switcher 3?
The Switcher 3. 10 frame rates.
At 540p.
540p.
They'll make it work, don't worry.
It's coming on October 15th. Baldur's Gate. Can anybody hear that dog?
It's fine.
That's my
For once, it's not my dog, so I'm happy.
That's next door's dog. Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition Pack is going to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 15th. Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition Icewind, what the heck? Is going to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 15th. That is Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition / Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. Little Town Hero, which is Town, if you don't know that, got renamed, is going to Switch on October 16th. Gleaner Heights is going to Switch on October 16th as well. Chernobyl Light is going to Steam Early Access, which is obviously PC, October 16th. Autonauts is going to PC on October 17th. Demon Pit is going to PC on October 17th. Stranded Sails, Explorers of the Cursed Islands is going to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 17th. That looks like a very awesome little game too. Looks like a... can't remember what it's called, whatever. It's like a top-down Animal Crossing kind of thing. Kine is going to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 17th. Stella is going to Xbox One on October 17th as well. Sea Salt is going to PC, Xbox One, and Switch on October 17th. Monkey King Hero is back. He's going to PC and PS4 on October 17th. Lots of stuff. The Fisherman Fishing Planet is going to be PC, PS4, and Xbox One on October 17th. Trevor Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition is going to PC and PS4. Okay.
Okay.
I thought that was Switch only anyway.
Well, it was Switch only up until now, I guess.
Yeah, October 17th, that's coming. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition is going to be PC and Switch on October 18th as well. Megaquarium is going to be PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 18th. Raging Loop is going to PS4, Switch, and PC October 13th and December 5th for PC. A Hat in Time is going to Switch on October 18th. Driven Out is going to PC, PS4, Xbox One on October 18th. Purple Dragon in Leotard, i.e. Ring Fit Adventure, is coming to Switch on October 18th.
The second greatest game coming out this year, right behind Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Where was I? Return of the Obra Dinn is going to PC, Xbox One, and Switch on October 18th.
You mean PS4?
Pig Eat Ball. No, Yeah, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch,
Okay.
not PC.
It's already on PC.
Pig Eat Ball is going to be PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 18th. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville is going to be PC, PS4, Xbox One on October 18th. And Ice Age Scrat's Nutty Adventure is going to be PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 18th as well. And that's it
Wow.
for this week. Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ice Age still exists in this day and age.
Same.
All right. Mike, where can the people find you on Twitter?
If for whatever reason, if you want to follow me, and I'm actually starting to get used to being on Twitter a bit more often, so please follow me here at MAS8705. I will talk about any miscellaneous random stuff, and I try to keep the politics down to nothing. So, yay for that.
What's your Weibo account? Because Lord knows.
The hell's a Weibo?
Oh, a Weibo? Oh, Weibo is Chinese Twitter. Like it's the.
Okay, yeah, I'm.
China's
if I say that now,
Twitter.
the Chinese people are going to come down on me and swap me. So.
Okay. All right, Anthony.
I'll wait until a little bit later to worship the Chinese overlords. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anthony, how about you on Twitter?
Same Ant-Man19, I don't tweet at all.
Okay.
So,
but you do tweet from
really...
the official channels that we got.
Yes, I do all the stuff for the social media for the site, which is what we stated earlier.
All right.
So if you want to get in contact with any of us, go through there.
Yeah. Awesome. You can find me at Inferius7809. That is at INFERIUS 7809. And I don't have a Weibo account either. So, yeah. All right, well.
America. Yeah. Australia somewhere in that too.
Yeah. And always remember, communist detective. I don't know. Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
better to be red than dead? Or dead than red.
Yeah, yeah. In the words of Liberty Prime. Anyway, we hope you all have a good weekend, good rest of the week, etc., etc. Happy gaming. May your favorable game companies be free from Chinese influence for a while. And yeah, maybe
let us pray to the upper gods also that Blizzard does not take up the majority of the news pieces for next week, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
No promises, mind you, but let's just hope.
And, well, after this week, I think it's fair to rein Blizzard in as part of one of the, I don't even know how to say this, but, like...
The pillars.
Yeah, the pillars of the Pentagram of Rage. We can add them to that.
Even though that's technically Activision Blizzard, but whatever.
No, it's
we'll
Blizzard
just start saying
specifically.
Activision Blizzard now
Three
instead of
pillars.
Activision.
Alright, anyway, so, thank you all so much for watching, and unless the Chinese come knocking on our door, we'll be here same time next week, and we hope to see you all there. Have a good night, everyone.
Toodles.